A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. That's what they said in Mulan during our 4th grade rendition when I played the fat guy. But it actually holds pretty true when it comes to addiction recovery. If you're watching this, it's likely that you or someone you love has been gambling and has reached the point where the pain has begun to outweigh the pleasure. But the problem is when you look around for help and you try to see what to do next to get yourself on a better path, everyone that you see has years of experience in recovery from addiction. They might be in their 60s and haven't gambled since the advent of the internet. Or they could be like myself and have 2 years being clean from gambling. Everyone can tell you what to do to live a better life in recovery, but no one seems to be telling you what you need to do on day 1. So the real question is, how the hell do you get your first day clean from gambling? I'm Rob, and I'm a recovering addict myself, as mentioned. I made my last bet November the 12th of 2022, and now I'm here to help you get your journey started. Instead of telling you how I've gotten that 550 days clean from gambling, I'm going to tell you what I did back on day 1. Because if we're going to get started with anything, we got to start from the beginning. A journey of 1,000 miles, right? So I just want you to subscribe if you want to live a happier and healthier life, avoiding the same mistakes that I made. But let's get right into it. I'm going to give you a 5-step checklist to start using on day 1 when it comes to gambling recovery. You can start living a better life today. Here's the 5 steps. So it's day 1. The very first thing that's going to be on people's mind is the financial situation. I've put myself into debt. What can I do right now? The last day that I gambled, I created enough debt that it would take me 6 months working 70 hours a week to pay it off. Yes, it was really, really bad. I know. But what I really needed right in the beginning was some clarity on how to get started with repaying that debt. Because at that point, it felt like I had to keep gambling to get myself out of the debt. It seemed like the only logical way, as I wasn't making that much money working my jobs at the time. So you could go the route of getting a financial counselor. But what I did was I listed out all of my debts, how much I was making, and I figured out how long it would feasibly take me if I could put 75% of my earnings back into debt repayment. Now, what you really need is a clear picture of what your spending situation looks like on a monthly basis. Your rent, utilities, essentials. Once you know these things, you can create a comprehensive budget to actually help you figure out how long it will take you to pay down debts that seem unmanageable. They're always manageable, but we need patience. And as problem gamblers, that's something we don't really have very much of yet. Once you have a clear-cut picture of what your financial situation looks like, and you know that you don't need to go back to gambling to solve the problem, because again, you'll not solve the problem, you're gonna make things way, way worse for yourself, then you can get into the process of finding recovery. Now, step 2 on this list is getting yourself into a support group meeting near you. A lot of us are scared that we're going to find someone we know, that we can't possibly find a group of people that could understand us. There's going to be so many issues. But the truth is that we can find a community of people that can support us in our recovery. And that can be found at a 12-step support group meeting, a smart recovery meeting, or basically any meeting of people in your local area. If you're struggling to find those meetings, check out gamblersinrecovery.com, as they offer free online meetings, and also there's resources down below in the description from myself as to where you can find other meetings. Some people will then consider getting therapy along with that step, because maybe they need the one-on-one support. That's a decision that's totally up to you, but it is really a requirement, in my opinion, to find a community to fall back on. Because the one-on-one can be really effective at helping you create a recovery plan and work through your problems, but without the accountability of the group, no one's going to notice if you slip and go back, unless you tell them. It's the hidden addiction. So be careful out there, and make sure that you're finding a group of people that you can be honest with. Step number 3 is to find a way to control your finances. And by control your finances, I mean have someone else control your finances. Because look, when I first got into recovery, the number one temptation for me and what kept sending me back to gambling was having too much money in front of me. When I would have access to the resources, I would spend them because I'm a problem gambler. And if I kept having that access, it would have never gotten any better for me. Now look, it was a huge ego hit to give control of my finances to someone else, but it's something that you can do right now on day one. Now say you don't have a spouse or a mother or a father to give your bank account access to. There's things out there like TrueLink, who isn't sponsoring this video, but they should be, where you can actually load up cards that have specific requirements as to where they can be spent. Additionally, if you live in places like Europe or Australia, there's bank transaction blockers that you can literally use at your bank to limit your access to your funds at specific websites and locations. Put the controls in place on day one, even if there's no money in there, because then you're going to be prepared for when you do have money in the future. Step number 4, self-exclude from the casinos. It might feel like a breakup, but it's absolutely something that you should be doing because you don't need the access to it. If you have the access to it, one day is going to come along in the future where you're going to feel tempted. And on that very first day, could be that day, you might feel like, oh man, I mapped out this debt, I went to a meeting and it was really great, and I turned over control of my finances, but I still just want it right now. And I get it. I want it right now too. That's the problem. That's how we ended up in this situation. Limit your access to the gambling. Don't let yourself screw yourself over, because that's what will happen if you keep the access. And step 5 on the checklist, the last step to getting started on day one, is so important. It is so difficult too. You have to embrace the boredom. When you stop cold turkey, you've now gotten to the point where, hey, what do I do? What's next? And the truth is, it's gonna suck. You're gonna be bored, but it's okay. You know why? Because boredom is so much better than chaos. And chaos is what we had as problem gamblers every single day. Embrace it. Your brain begins to heal itself as time will pass. But on that very first day, you're going to be miserable. There's no way around it. I was insanely miserable because I was in debt. I was angry, frustrated, tired, depressed, and really had nothing to do. That'll get solved with time. But day one is the day where you start to embrace the boredom. It's okay. You're going to make it. But you got to be ready for that first day. This is going to be a difficult process. There's no sugarcoating it. But that first day is going to be the start of a brand new lease on life. For so long, I gambled with the expectation that it would solve all my problems, but in the end, it just created them. Now that I'm in recovery for gambling, I actually have a chance to enjoy my life and make something of it. That's not something I really got from gambling, and it was something that was going to get further away if I kept playing. You can do this. I believe in you. This is your day one, or someone that you love's day one. Show them the belief. Show yourself the belief that I have in you, because I did it, and you're going to do it right now. If you want a deeper dive into how I've actually gotten 550 days clean past day one, then check out this video that I made on how I quit gambling. And until then, let's keep getting better together, one day at a time.